Global Risk Community Chat. Today our guest is Fene Osakwe. I'm very happy to have you here today, Fene. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here too.
Likewise. So before we get into our topic, can you briefly introduce yourself?
So brief introduction. I'm a multiple award-winning technology professional. I specialize in cybersecurity risk. I've been doing this for over a decade now. And so, yes, I'm just really here to talk about, cybersecurity.
Sounds good. So then let's get into something about cybersecurity. Is there any specific topic related to cybersecurity you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's see. So today I want to talk about cyber resilience, just because we are beginning to think that security is no longer going to be enough in the future.
Interesting. Then let's get to it. So what are some key things when it comes to cyber resilience? What does it mean? How is it different from cybersecurity?
Fantastic question. So I would say that the difference between cybersecurity and cyber resilience is in the problem we are trying to solve. So security says, let's protect ourselves. And how do we make sure that we protect ourselves? Okay. Security says something like, it must not happen. We must never be breached. Resilience says, what if we are breached? Okay. Resilience does not say we must protect ourselves. Resilience says we must protect ourselves. However, we must have the ability to anticipate and respond to a cyber risk. Security says, how do we stop a cyber security breach from happening? Resilience says, how do we ensure that the business can continue working even if we suffer a cyber security breach? So the thinking is different, right? And so fundamentally, that is the difference between both of them.
And thank you for sharing that. I think that really clarifies the difference. So again, to ask, so what would be some key things? Like, how do you get more resilient? How do you get more cyber resilient as a company? Like, how do you shift that mentality? What do you do?
Yeah, so I think, so we've spoken about shifting the mentality in terms of what the difference are. In terms of resilience, I would suggest about 5 things. So the first thing I would say is, as the head of security or someone who is in charge of risk, or someone who is managing cyber risk, the first thing will be, you need to understand your organization's key information assets that support the company, okay? There will be some systems that if they go down, for example, if you're in a financial service, if your core banking application goes down, that's a problem, okay? However, if things around your file server go down, nobody really cares. If you are in telecom infrastructure, for example, if the availability systems go down, that's a disaster. But if the systems that manage finances go down, they really don't care. Okay, so you need to understand what are the key information assets that are driving business operations. Once we understand that, the next thing is we need to then develop a cybersecurity strategy around this key business infrastructure. So the strategy needs to sit on 3 equally important pillars, okay? People, the process, and the technology. And what we are saying in the strategy is, what people, process, technology do we have in place to protect ourselves? What people, process, technology do we have in place to make sure that we detect if there's a cybersecurity breach? And then what process and people and technology have we put in place to recover from a cybersecurity breach? Then the next thing is to deploy technology to make sure that you have these things. So when we talk about, things to deploy, at this point, you're talking about make sure you have encryption, make sure you have SIM tools. This is the point you begin to talk about technology. One of the challenges with security today is we're talking of technology before we even understand what the business is trying to do. And so the business is going in the right and IT is going in the left, and it's just a bit of chaos. And then finally, I would say, make sure you monitor and you test, okay? Incident response plans, disaster recovery plans, those things need to be tested. And lastly, do not underestimate the importance of regular audits. Regular audits are not old school. Regular audits are still important. So I think that's important.
Thank you for sharing that as well. I hear that there's quite a few steps for, changing the mentality or getting more cyber resilient, essentially. So with that all in mind, so what would be the biggest takeaway point you can share with our viewers? Let's say if they want to start implementing right away, what should be the first thing they should get onto?
So I would say the first thing you should make sure you have is an incident response plan. That's what I would say. We are very careful in security not to give a silver bullet because it does not exist, because ultimately cybersecurity is a chain that is as strong as its weakest link. So we would say get an incident response plan that is trusted and tested. I once did an assessment for a company around the incident response plan. We sat together, everybody articulated it, and they said, oh, we know what to do, we know who should do what, and they go play football. And then we test the plan, and then we send an email to say, hey guys, you've all been hacked. Nobody followed the incident response plan. Everybody's running helter-skelter. Nobody even followed the plan. So if you don't trust it, then redocument it until it gets to level where it's trusted by the organization and everybody knows their role. Procurement knows what to do, IT know what to do, communications know who to communicate with, we know who to tell our customers what to do, and we know the core business systems that can recover immediately. All those things, those are important.
Thank you for sharing that as well. Is there any last things you'd like to add up?
No, nothing to add up. I mean, I would just like to thank the risk community, for having me, and hopefully we get to share, other things and other topics as we head into 2023.
Then we also thank you as well for joining us today, sharing your insights also in these important topics, trending topics, and hoping that our audience has really enjoyed it as well. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you too.
Have a great day.
Thank you.